In this next phase of digging out my office, I'd like to show converting these shelves into little 2 by 2 foot bookshelves. So I have these cleared out. I'm trying to remember when I made these. I believe each one of these sections is a separate piece. So I'm thinking I can take this trim off. I don't think I glued it. I think I just used some nails. And I can repurpose this. It's screwed to the wall. And I think if I take it down, I can then make each one of these little sections into a little box unit or a little shelf unit. And I can use them to hold up the desks and just to be storage and kind of arrange them in the new office. I can pull my power strip off. This definitely needs a place in the new office, and I'm not exactly sure where that's going to be yet. Okay, it looks like this trim's not glued on, it's just nails. I should be able to just pull it, carefully pull it apart. So with just a big screwdriver, I can carefully pull the trim off. And I started with the piece that runs across the top. Then I did the vertical pieces between each unit. And then I did the bottom strip. Now on the top of all of the boxes that I had made, I put a second layer of 3/4 inch plywood to kind of tie all the pieces together. And I could pull that off. Then I could unscrew the boxes from the wall. This section of wall is concrete. This is part of the basement. So these are concrete screws going through the wood into the wall. And the first one's a little tight. Once I got the first one off, it came off pretty easily. My fear was I was going to break off one of the screws in the concrete, but I managed not to do that. And I brought all the boxes out to the shop. And I pulled the nails out of the plywood. Now from the birch plywood, they came out pretty easily, and I was able to get all of them out. But the nails in the maple trim were much tighter, and I got a few of those out, but there were a bunch that are in there, and I could not get them out. They basically broke off in the wood. So I had to cut the maple down to fit the skinnier dimension of the sides of the boxes anyways. So I cut off the sides that had the nails where I could. And I had to cut up some new maple as well to kind of add to the trim that I needed. And I cut them to length. And all the boxes are the same, so I could cut all the pieces of trim and just have my little stash of each part of the box, the 2 vertical pieces and the piece at the top and bottom. The piece in the middle was left over from the original use. So then I got all the trim on. Now on 4 of the boxes, I wanted to make a little base. One, because they were going to sit on the floor, and this would hold them up a little bit. And also I wanted to use the boxes as the legs for the desks in the office. So I wanted them to be desk height. So the base would be a little bit like making a toe kick on a cabinet. It'll just be a frame that's inset a little bit from the dimensions of the box. So I set up my radial arm saw to cut that miter between the sides of the frame. Then with that set up, I can cut that long miter. And it worked pretty well. I set up a stop for the 2 lengths that I need. So in making a frame like this, the angle needs to be 45, but the other thing that's really important is that the 2 sides that are supposed to be equal need to be equal, so that it makes right angles at all 4 corners. I thought about doing a biscuit at the corners, but I decided it didn't need to really be that strong. So I just used glue and 2 nails. Now the other thing I wanted to do at the corner was to put a little square piece of blocking in the corner. And this would do a bunch of things. It would help hold the frame square, and it would give a little more strength to the corner. And the big thing that it would do is it would give me a way to attach the base to the bottom of the box with a screw. So I could drill a hole through those squares, turn the box over, and then attach the base to the bottom of the box. And I've got a sharp little bookcase. And I can bring them back into the new office space. Now I'm setting up this office, I'm realizing, with found objects. I'm realizing I'm not really going to build anything new. It's all going to be reused parts. But it's putting those parts together in a way that's going to hopefully function a lot better. The space that I've been in, I just kind of moved into and set up without a whole lot of thought. And it's always just been kind of like I'm camping in that space. So I'm going to put the desks on the bookcases. And this first desk will just be my regular desk with a straight edge and drawing equipment. So I can do hand drawing if I need to. Then I'd like to have a second desk that'll be my photo desk. And I'd like to build legs for it at some point, but for now I'm just going to use the sawhorses that I had in the old office. And I've got this right now in another part of the basement, and it's just gotten way too cluttered. And it's hard to use because there's stuff in the way everywhere. So I want to pull this out of this space and bring it to the new office and keep it set up just for doing photos, and keep it so that I can just walk in and use it. I don't have to move a bunch of stuff around. So I'm going to take this tabletop, which is a door. I really like using solid core doors as desktops. They're nice and big and heavy and perfectly flat. So I can set this on the bookcase boxes. I'd like to make a base for the bookcase boxes that'll sit on top, and the base will take up the thickness of the desktop. So at some point this will be set up as my photo table, and I'll have a drawing desk. Then in the other corner I'll have my computer workstation. That'll basically be the function of the office. Thanks for watching.